Welcome back to the homestead, guys and girl. I think Ashley watches. What do we got going on today? Today is a continuation of something that I was talking about in the last video. The last video being adjusting the hydraulic pressure and on the front end loader of the 2025. But I had mentioned during that video that it was maintenance day, and that's a lovely phrase, but in reality, maintenance day is really like maintenance week. With all the toys and tools and stuff I have around here, it takes a decent amount of time and a decent amount of money to keep all this stuff running. So what are we going to do today? Today I am going to do a 50-hour service on the 2025. This is a contested service. Like everything else on the internet, this service used to be in the manual, and now it's not in the manual. And the reasons were kind of bantered back and forth, one of them being that Deere's marketing team wanted to make the cost of ownership for one of these tractors a little bit lower, so they actually took a service interval out. I don't know how much truth to that is. Does the marketing department have more sway than the engineering department? I don't know. But what I do know is that it's something that used to be done, and now it's not being done. And because of my favorite phrase, which is, grease is cheap and parts are expensive, I'm just going to go ahead and do the 50-hour service the way that it used to be done in the book, and for the cost of a couple $100, have some peace of mind. Last weekend I did the 748. This machine has like 430 hours on it. When we bought the house, and this was included, it had about 230 hours on it. Again, being a maintenance nerd, but being freshly moved into a new house, I actually sent it out to Deere to get serviced, and I don't actually think they did what I asked. I said, listen, I don't have any service records on this. Could you please go ahead and do the whole village, do everything, do all the fluids so that I know where I'm starting with? And they were like, yeah. And it came back, and I think they might have changed the oil on it, but almost definitely not any of the undercarriage fluids. You know, like when you change oil, there's like drips and drabs and smells. There was none of that. There was no evidence that they actually did anything. I think they just took the tractor, turned it on up and down, changed the oil, and gave it back to me. That was a $500 mistake. Anyway, we don't deal with that dealership anymore. I have a much better dealership now. But in order, again, for peace of mind, I'm going to do it myself. So last weekend I went ahead and did the air, fuel, and engine oil filter and change. Also in tandem, I did the hydraulic filter and full hydraulic swap. You know, Adam from Hometown Acres has a video. It's his most recent video as of filming of this about, he's an accountant. Here's the asterisk. He's an accountant, so everything's money with him. How expensive it is to keep these toys going, tools, how expensive it is to keep these tools running. I guess it's akin to fancy cars or cars in general. And we're also dealing with petroleum products, so the prices are not cheap. The air, fuel, and engine filter kit for this was like 80 bucks, which, okay, isn't too bad. The hydraulic system, the hydraulic filter, and 7 quarts of low-vis high guard for this was in the probably, I think, $60 range. So you're talking about 140, 150 bucks. I don't have the receipt in front of me, but something like that. But this thing is good to go for, I'll probably do a year, but it says 200 hours, and all the fluids are done on it, except one. The front axle on this 748 is not hydraulic or whatever. It's full of gear lube, and the service interval for that is 600 hours. So I didn't do that because we're not even close. We only have like 420 hours or 430 hours. Nice, 420. So then we move on to the big tractor, which isn't that much expensive now I'm looking at the bill. It does take 4 gallons of high guard to do the replacement of the hydraulic fluids. So that's, just bought the 5-gallon bucket. That's 125 bucks. And then the filter kit for that was only $5 more expensive than the little tractor at $82. And I bought a filter wrench to make my life easier. So what does that mean? Cost of ownership so far at 50 hours for this machine, not including any of the toys and the attachments that I bought for it, $200 a year? That's not that bad. I mean, if you consider the price of the machine fresh off of the assembly line and from the dealer, my midlife crisis is a lot cheaper than other people's midlife crises. I don't think that you can get, like, say, a classic car or a boat or anything like that for a $200 a year cost of ownership. And also, remember, I'm doing this under my own free will and volition, and it's not necessarily spelled out in the service manual anymore. So this one's kind of on me. But for $200 for peace of mind, I'm kind of okay with that. Now, again, in Adam's case, where he's multiplying it by a number of different machines, I could see how it gets annoying. But enough talking. Let's get into it. So the first thing that I did was I took the backhoe off. And while I was taking the backhoe off, I figured, take the front end loader off. Why? I don't really know. I just kind of wanted to see what my toy looked like without all of its stuff on it. I think I'm going to do what taking the front end loader off definitely does is gives me more access to the engine oil. While I'm making a trip to the dump to bring a bunch of oil back, I'm thinking about just doing the engine oil while I'm here. I'll just write it down. Again, oil is cheap and parts are expensive. You get some people that are like, oh, with too many changes, you're introducing the possibility of dirt, hogwash. That's what you have filters for. So I'm going to do the engine oil first. I don't know if I'm going to film that because who hasn't seen how to change an engine oil? And then we'll get into the hydraulic filter. So I'll bring you back when I'm all done with that. Just getting finished up here. That was actually really easy in comparison. The clearance, shout out to 2025 and not a 1025, made this super duper easy. I mean, I'm talking maybe 5 minutes to do this. My only gripe, if you can even call it that, is this engine takes 2.9 quarts. What am I supposed to do with 1/10 of a quart? What does work out in my favor is, as part of maintenance week, I changed the oil on the generators too, and one of them needed 1.1, so I have exactly 0.9 quarts in my hand. Tremendous. I always said when I became president, which I don't plan on doing, but if I did, I would run on a platform solely of making containers and their respective receptacles be the same size. Why couldn't you adjust one thing 1 inch down the bottom of the oil pan and make it take 3 quarts? Or, on the other hand, let's mandate that all windshield wiper fluid containers in vehicles take 1 gallon of liquid. Who doesn't have 50 million of these sitting around? Just make it 1 gallon so I can dump the whole thing in. Just make it 3 quarts so I can dump the whole thing in. But I digress. Let me know down in the comments if you would vote for me, just on that platform ticket alone. Anywho, 50 hours, doesn't say anywhere close to that to change the engine oil, but for 5 minutes and, I don't know, $30, I'm gonna do it. And I did it, and it's done. Actually, if we look under here at 50 hours, it says lubricate the grease points. God knows I do that. Check the front axle oil level. We could do that. Okay, part B of my platform. Let's make these sticks visible when you're checking the fluid. That's perfect. What else at 50 hours? Clear or replace cab air filter. I don't have a cab. Lubricate 3-point hitch. I never put the 3-point hitch on, so I think we're good there. And they jump right over from 50 hours to 200 hours, and that's changed the transmission oil, inspect the belts, air restrictor indicator, wheel bolt torque, and then change the engine oil and filter is at 400 hours. Well, I'd say we're good then. But we're just doing the break-in, right? I don't know, am I convincing me? Am I convincing you? Who am I convincing? It's my tractor. I could change it every 5 minutes if I want. I don't believe I'm going to do the air filter. I'm not going to do the air filter or the fuel filters. Does it say fuel filters anywhere on here? Nah, I'll check on the book. A drain water from fuel tank or replace fuel filter is at 400 hours. So 400 is the big one. Let's check the air filter while we have the side panel off. Inner is clear. That's good. This doesn't even have any dirt in it. All right, well, that's what you get for checking it at 50.3 hours. So that's good. I'm not going to replace that. I'll put it on the shelf with the rest of the maintenance stuff because I do have a replacement air filter. Cool. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, so now we have our door panel back on. It's got its full aerodynamic stability and downforce. It's got some louvers here. I'm assuming that's for downforce. High-speed runs. I'm not sure. Let's get into the fun one. I'm interested to see how many metal shavings there are. All right, so step one of changing the transmission fluid, remove the backhoe. Got that. Next thing it says is to remove the rear left wheel. Now there's a bunch of videos out there of folks who didn't remove their wheel for various reasons. Like, I don't know, these are weighted, so they do weigh a ton, and getting them back on is a bear. Don't necessarily want to make my life harder than it has to be. Sometimes you fight with the bolt and the tube that are connected on the other side, so I'm just going to take the tire off. Okay, next we're going to drain the drain pan. The issue that a lot of guys deal with when it comes to this is how much fluid there is inside here. It's like 4 gallons. Exactly 4 gallons. I'm fully prepared to take a hydraulic bath because my thing holds 4 gallons, but that would be, I don't know, if it was absolutely empty, which it's impossible to get these things absolutely empty. So I'm fully prepared to take a hydraulic bath in doing this. This says 4 gallons. The container says 16 quarts, which 4 times 4 is 44. We should be good. Let's do it. It looks pretty good. Looks pretty clear. I'll let that drain out. Go get a cup of coffee. I guess while this is still draining, we could do the filter, or filter, as Neil from Messick's calls it. And I'm gonna have to take you guys off the tripod. Oh, there we go. So we're underneath. Oh, we got the drips now. And here is the filter. I did see a comment on another video. The guy was like, "You didn't show me where the filter is, bro. If you can't find that, it's right there. Above the mid PTO, there it is." I just don't have a way to keep you guys pointed in the right direction. This would go a lot faster if I wasn't filming. Yo, this pan is tremendous. It fits perfectly. Catches everything. It took all 4 gallons. I'm gonna leave a link in the description below for this. Fantastic. All right, let's get the new oil filter on. Anyway, that pan is fantastic. It took all 4 gallons and held, and is big enough to catch both drippies at the same time. What a relief. Okay, according to the manual, this is, once it touches the mating surface, half a turn more. Okay, we touched. We need half a turn more. That's half. There we go. Cool. Wipe everything down. So really up until this point, it's been a straight fluid change. Like any other oil change or anything you've ever done. The fluid looks good. So now we're gonna get into the real reason why we're doing this, checking the hydraulic screen. I think it's gonna be hard for me to film this, so let's see what we can do. So next it says to undo the clamps here and start sliding, which seems to be the hardest part of the whole thing. I'm going to use my Knipex to my advantage. And yes, I call them Knipex because I'm in America and we call it whatever we want here. Aluminium. Oh, yeah. Yes. Yes. Look at this. Got it. Ha! Cool. We get a clean-ish rag. Get you guys set up. Awesome. Did you see how much stuff came out of there? Look at this thing. Awesome. All right. Bro. Look at that. It's not going to focus. Let's see if it'll focus on my thumb. Oh, yeah. And we got some little stuff on here. Ooh. Oh, yeah. Bro, look at all this stuff. Man, there was so much stuff on here. That was like popping a 2025 size zit. Get all that crap out of there. I think, should I run some brake clean on this? I might run some brake clean through this just to see if I can flush anything out. And then we'll wait till it flashes completely off before we reinstall it. We don't want to break down any hydraulic. So definitely what you want to do is first you want to take some brake cleaner and you want to spray it on here and get it in your eyes and in your mouth so that all your chicken wings taste like brake cleaner all weekend. And then secondly, spray it all up in there and then run out in the middle on YouTube. This is all the stuff that came out right here from the inside after spraying it with brake cleaner. So this could be, I don't know, optional, if you will. Beautiful. Man, that felt great. Whew, that felt nice. I don't want to use the same rag with the brake cleaner as I do on the O-ring here because I don't know how the O-ring would react to the brake cleaner. Focus, god damn it. Anyway, you get the point. You've seen an O-ring before. If you made it this far in the video, you've seen an O-ring before. Seeing all that gunk come out like that, that was fantastic. Oh, there's an O-ring on the inside too. Yeah, not spraying it with brake clean was the right move there. All right, so let's put it back together. All right, let's get this thing reinstalled. I lubed the O-rings because everything works better with lube. Let's just make sure that there's no metal filings here inside the port. A little bit. Nothing too crazy. All right, let's get this back in. Had enough of this project. So this bolt says, okay, so blah, 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 21 foot-pounds. Click. I don't have a 1/4-inch torque drive. I don't have a 1/4-inch torque wrench, I should say. But that's about right. I'd also like to say, for what it's worth, as we're reassembling, that pan is still draining. It's still dripping. Easier to go back on. It would be a lot easier if there wasn't a camera here. I'd have no idea how Watch Wes works, does what he does. Shout out to that guy. Because it's not bad. You guys are just in the way. cool. Of course you're out of focus and you can't see anything. Clamp, clamp. That thing is still dripping under there, but your time is up. I'm gonna go ahead and put the plug back in before it starts raining. So overall, this has been pretty simple. The hardest part was the hose clamp. Even still, that was the right tool for the right job. Knife packs were the wrong pick straight away, but vice grips made it super easy. It really did drain out the entire time it dripped, so it's probably not 100% empty. That being said, it's not the end of the world. The fluid itself looked pretty clean. Screw needed to get changed though, or clean. Tremendous. That made me feel fantastic. To anyone who thinks I'm just a guy on YouTube, I am following the book. It's delineated out pretty easily. Now we're going to refill the transmission. Should be nice and easy. I'm going to take another coffee break though. Work smart, not hard. Let's just double check it. I think we nailed it. Oh yeah. It's right at the C in check cold. So assuming it still has to fill up the filter, we're gonna spill a little inevitably. When I'm gonna rehook all the attachments, we spill a little out, so I'm happy with that. Sweet, so I feel good. Just gonna go ahead and put this tire on. Save you guys the trouble of seeing that because it's just going to be me yelling and cursing because the tire doesn't line up right with the holes and it weighs 1,000 pounds. And get this thing wrapped up. So to wrap up, the transmission filter screen, I think it should be done. I am not a John Deere engineer. I don't know why they don't tell you to do that, but for the amount of stuff that came out, the amount of shiny, glittery stuff that came out, I feel way comfortable doing it. I feel much more comfortable doing it than not doing it. Overall, without you guys, this would probably be a 1-hour job. A good Father's Day job. You know, Dad's out working in the garage. It was not hard. It did not take any crazy tools. To its credit, this relatively cheapy oil change bucket thing here did take all 4 gallons, which seems to be the big hang up. Even Tractor Time with Tim had a concern over it. Some other videos on here had a concern over it. This one did it, so I'll leave a link down below. I'm gonna grease all the attachments. You guys don't need to see that. And that should complete maintenance day. I gotta do the log splitter. Just oil change on the log splitter. I appreciate you spending some time with me, doing some tractor stuff. I think the next video is probably going to be, you know, actually using it as opposed to talking and rambling and wrenching on it. I'm sure we can find something to do with it. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. If you have any input or questions or comments, go ahead and leave them down in the comment section. I'll probably answer them because I got nothing better to do. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Hello.
You guys come here with Mom, but I don't know where Mom is.
I don't know where Mom is either.
You guys come here now.
I have to come here now?
Uh-huh.
Okay.